Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be diving into how you can track employee requests for hiring and how you can actually manage recruitment processes within ClickUp. We'll walk you through two primary workflows, one being how to manage employee positions, meaning if somebody requests to, let's say, hire a project manager, how can you track that and manage that within ClickUp? And then how can you actually manage candidates who are applying for these jobs? What are different views that you can use? So we'll show you how to build each of these, connect them together, and set up helpful automations to simplify your process. Position requests are usually scattered across emails, spreadsheets. You get verbal requests. Maybe somebody's like, hey, we need to hire a new project manager. There's no real tracking for it, right? So when hiring is tied to planning cycles, budgets, headcount approvals, things can get very chaotic. And so having a clear system that helps track what roles need to be filled and when and who requested them will be very helpful. So that's why we have this list called positions. Now, in the positions list, if we jump right in, I'm going to go ahead and start just adjusting some of the fields and creating some standard custom fields that we can use. I'm going to go ahead and just add the name to just be position template as an example, right? I'm going to add a field called requestor. This is going to be a people field, and we're going to call it requestor. That way you know who requested to have this position created and posted. Let's add department as a drop down. I already have a department field, and let's go ahead and add in just some generic ones. We can just say HR, PMO, admin, and we'll do sales. All right, I like to pick some colors, so let's just do that too. Perfect. The reason why we need department, again, is because you'll know exactly what department needs this position to be filled. Let's add in some date fields, maybe like the expected effective date. So let's add that in too, effective date. And let's add offer status dropdown. That way we have just a high level understanding of what's going on with the offer. Has an offer been sent? Is anybody interested, etc. So let's go ahead and create another dropdown and let's call it offer status. We'll just do not sent, sent, accepted. I'm going to add a couple of checkboxes. One is called make offer checkbox. All right, and let's kind of reduce the width here. And I'm going to have another checkbox called approve to post. So again, this list is not only meant to help track the position, but it's also meant to help track when we want to post this job on our website or other hiring conventions you guys are using. So having fields like approval to post will give you a good indication of like you're drafting the job description, and then you can have the requester approve this as well. For our statuses, let's just go to it here. Go to edit statuses. We're going to add custom statuses. We'll do to-dos, fine. We'll do drafting, meaning we are drafting the job description. We're going to do under review. We're going to do interviewing. We're going to do inactive. We'll have that as our done status, inactive. And then we'll have our complete status will be filled, meaning the position has been officially filled here. We're going to just keep this nice and simple. And we're going to bring our status in now, all right? So let's bring our status in here. What we are doing here is now we are able to see when the job position is being drafted, if we are approved to post a job position, are we able to make an offer, etc. One thing that I do want to update here, effective date, let's just have it so that it's the posting date. Effective date is not really relevant here. This will give us an idea of how long we had the job posted for. This is the foundation of the hiring process. If this is not set up clearly, everything downstream like hiring, onboarding gets just really hard to manage. So it's important for us to empower the team so that we can have submission requests and we can retain control at the HR level. One important field that we need to add in here is a relationship field. And we are going to call this candidates. And we're going to select tasks from a specific list. We're going to do hiring. Our positions are generic, meaning it's just going to be listed as like project manager, director. And then our hiring list will have all of the candidates listed out from it. And we're going to leverage the relationship field to be able to select those candidates. And basically, whenever the requester comes to this list, they can quickly and easily see all of the candidates for their specific position. So let's go ahead and link that to our hiring list here. Now, let's go in and start creating some views. The current view that you see is called all positions. All right, so let's go ahead and just rename this list to be all positions. I'm going to have another view called under review, and we're going to filter this view so that the status is under review. So let's say you have dozens of different positions that you're hiring for. You can have simplified views that people can navigate to very easily when they want to see what positions are under review versus all positions. All right, and now this is essentially our positions list. It's meant to be very simple. So as an example, let me just go through a quick little demo. So let's say that we want to hire a project manager. You got an email sent over to you. We're going to say project manager as the task name. The assignee will be whoever the HR manager is or who's responsible to create this position. We can utilize the due date as just a reminder of when we want to follow up. And then the priority, how much priority is this position? We really need a project manager like by the end of the month. So let's just go ahead and set that date there. Our requester is the person who requested it. Let's say that the PMO team requested it and we want to post this position on the 8th. The offer status has not been sent. And right now the requester has not approved to make an offer or approved to post the job description either. And what you can do is you can literally, in the description itself, we can include the job description here as you are drafting it. And then once you are ready to draft it, you can at whoever the requester is, please review the description for your approval. All right. And they'll come in and they'll make comments and things like that. And so that is the positions list. Now, this relationship field candidates is very important. We're going to talk about that next in our next workflow that we're going to be managing. How to manage employee hiring. So why does this matter? Hiring is probably one of the most process heavy parts of any HR team. You're coordinating multiple candidates, interviews, internal reviews, offers, communications, everything all at once can just be super hectic. So having a structured hiring list really prevents candidate info from getting lost. And so we're going to jump into how we can start managing our employee hiring within ClickUp as well. Let's go into our next list, and we're going to have a list called employee hiring. So we have hiring here. I'm going to go ahead and just type in the template here. Your task name is going to be the candidate's name, all right? And we're going to include a position dropdown. So let's go ahead and create a dropdown. We'll call this position. And for now, I'm just going to do like HR manager, project manager, and admin as an example, all right? Now, other fields that we need text fields because we are going to create some email automations in a little bit. So we're going to do a text field called candidate name. Very similar. We're going to create an email field now, and we're going to call this candidate email. All right. We're going to use these fields for our automation that we're going to create in ClickUp to reference to later on. Now, the other fields that we need to create, we're going to have a couple of date fields as well. Those are going to include interview date, effective date, and then the effective date is, let's say that you want to actually hire that candidate. And instead of effective, we'll just call it hire date. Again, you're going to be using the due date for reminders. And then we're going to include our relationship field. We're going to create that too. And this is going to be called positions. And we're going to relate it to our positions list. As an example, when we have a position such as a project manager, you can now link this particular candidate to that project manager position. And so let me just go ahead and go through a quick example. Let's say that I have myself, all right? The hiring manager will be the assignee here. And then the due date obviously is the reminder date there. So let's go ahead and let's link the position. And let's say that this person applied for the project manager job. We'll go ahead and select the project manager. Go ahead and do ArfCon, and then let's type in my email. And then we're going to select the interview date. Let's say they reached out and the interview date's on the 13th. So as you can see, I have this particular candidate linked to this position. If I navigate to my positions list now, if they requested this project manager position, they can go to the relationships and see which candidates are we looking at, essentially, which candidates are we hiring on that side. So that is our relationship with the positions and hiring list as an example. Let's talk about statuses. Let's bring our status field in. Our statuses are basically going to be driving the candidate through our hiring process. So we're going to have just general statuses here. And these can be whatever you like, but I'm just going to keep it pretty generic. We'll keep it to do, and then we'll do pre-screening. We're going to also do interview scheduled, and then we'll do offer sent. And then we'll have a couple of done statuses. We're going to have rejected, and let's do withdrawn. And then our complete status will be accepted. So here's our example. We have this candidate. let's say that they're in the pre-screening stage. I like to group my statuses in descending order. That way I know at the top what's to do and what's not. So we have pre-screening here, and then you can drive this candidate through this entire process, as you can see. Let's talk a little bit about automations. We're going to just do some, and then you can kind of decide how you want to leverage these automations a little bit more. So we're going to create an email automation. Let's go ahead and automate this. Let's go here, and then we're going to go to email. You can select any one of these. The email automations at ClickUp are very nice because you can send templatized emails from ClickUp directly through like a standardized HR email. So let me just go ahead and set this up. You just have to do a one-time login to be able to set up your email here. So, all right, so I've connected my email, as you can see, and I'm going to have it so that the admins can use it. All right, so I'm going to say when the status changes from any to pre-screening, meaning we are interested in this candidate, we want to maybe the HR manager just wants to talk to them before they schedule an interview, you can go ahead and use this status as that. So it's going to go to the candidate email. That's why we created that candidate email field. And then you can also CC yourself as an example so that you're always CC'd when an email gets sent out. And then say pre-screening. All right, let's enter a description. When status changes to pre-screening, send email. All right, it's good practice to do this. Let's go ahead and create. And we're going to duplicate this email or this same automation in our current location. And we're going to change this so that, let's say that if we rejected them or if we're not interested, so we can say, thank you for your submission. So I think you get the picture. These email automations help serve as a function to connect with the candidate instantly, without you having to email them, and it's all done automatically and templated. The biggest thing with HR workflows is having things streamlined and standardized, right? That way you have everything set up on that side there. So let's just go ahead and let's demo this really quick. I'm gonna go ahead and move this one back. So let's say this user here is in pre-screening. You'll see that an email will automatically be sent. And what's really cool is that it gets added directly to the activity column here. So I think there was a problem with the email that I was trying to send to, but it gets added in the comment activity, as you can see. Now let's go ahead and let's add some checklist items within the description. You are able to add checklist items within the action items, but in the details tab here, I'm going to go ahead and add that in. You can have like a standardized checklist. So checklist, or call it hiring checklist, and you'll do / and you can literally select checklist. Send pre-screening email, schedule interview. So this is just good for you to use, just for practice so that you have an understanding of what's been completed, what's remaining, things like that. Send company packet. And then now what we're going to do is we're actually going to save this as a template. So this candidate name will be our template here. And let's go ahead and save that. So let's go to templates, and then we're going to save as a template. We're going to call this a hiring task. All right, and now we've created our template. So now that we've created our hiring list, we have our candidate name and information and things like that. Let's go ahead and create different views that we need to help track this. So we have a list view here. Let's go ahead and rename this to be all hiring. And by default, when you create your list, it does have the board view. You can go into your ClickUp to turn that board view off if you don't need it. So we'll do all hiring. This all hiring list is basically showing us all of the candidates that we're considering for all positions. Let's go ahead and create another view, and this will be offers sent. And we're going to filter this view so that the status is offer sent. Now we can quickly and easily navigate to a view where we can see all of our offers sent. So as an example, I'll change this one to offer sent. And now you can see in the offers sent, we only have that one candidate showing. Now you do have to adjust these fields here in your views. The way you do that is just clicking on this plus with the circle. And instead of creating the field, you just go ahead and turn the fields on as an example. So we have like interview date, positions, and things like that. And then the most important view, or my favorite view for this list, is the calendar view. Now, this calendar view will be our interview dates. And instead of task dates, we're going to show the actual interview date. And boom. Now you can see all of your interviews on one single calendar. This is probably one of the most crucial views that any HR manager will need. You can also show additional fields, maybe like the position and the hire date and things like that. Having a positions list that is separate from your hiring list is very crucial. You don't want to clutter your position requests with individual candidate tracking because it'll just get really messy. You're going to have dozens of position requests from different departments, and you can have hundreds of candidates that you're trying to manage. Doing that all in one list will almost become impossible. So keeping them linked but separate gives clarity to the requesting manager as well as the HR team. Basically, I would recommend that the HR team uses this hiring list for their purposes. And then whoever's the requester, they will go into the positions list to see the position that they requested. And they can click in and go to the relationships to see what candidates that we are considering to hire here. And that is the hiring list. Now, one more automation that I wanted to create, let's go to automations and we're going to kind of link these lists together. So let's say that the status changes to accepted. We're going to duplicate this task. We're going to duplicate this task in the following list. We're going to duplicate this in our HRM space within the employee list. And we're going to create the same automation so that I can create it within the onboarding list. Why this is important is because now you can automatically trigger when the employee has accepted the position. It'll move into different workflows. It'll go into your active employee list and it will go into your onboarding list. We created this automation. Let me just go ahead and just show you the test really quick. So when offer sent, I'm going to go ahead and hit accepted. And now it's going to duplicate our task within the employees list. All right, so that wraps up on how you can manage position requests and how you can manage candidates who are applying for positions within your company. Doing this in ClickUp is very simple. We kept things separate, but related them using relationship fields, and especially we kept them standard. So it's super customizable. It keeps your hiring transparent and organized. And if you found this helpful, please drop a comment below. Feel free to reach out to us at visually.org, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.